Isaac, how do you see the election playing out? How do you see, of course, for now, these are the two candidates. I don't know if by today, I didn't read that Nikki Haley was not longer in the fight, or Dean Phillips on the Democratic side, who I would love to host here. I've been trying to reach him actively. I've hosted Marianne Williamson, but not Dean. But beside that, how do you see this playing out?
It's a good question. I mean, the big question mark is what happens in Trump's trials. If he has to stand trial before the election, and if he gets convicted of anything before the election, I think he's probably going to lose. I think that would be a really big blow to him. There are some polls that show 25% of Republican voters say they would not vote for Donald Trump if he was found guilty on some of these charges. So it would be really damaging to his image. And I think that's important to keep in mind, and maybe people are underestimating. The questions around Joe Biden are very real. I think nobody is going to replace him. He will be the nominee unless he has some kind of major health crisis or something like that, which is certainly possible given his age. Again, there's so many variables. There's the old saying that in politics, a week is a lifetime. A lot can change in a week in politics. And we're 9 months away from the election, or 8 months away from the election. So a lot's going to change between now and then. And it's very possible, Trump could get convicted and drop out, or Biden could decide, I'm not up for this, or he has some kind of old senile moment or something in front of the press that's so bad and there's so much pressure for him to drop out that he has to pass it on to somebody else. That could definitely happen. If it's Biden and if it's Trump, I think right now, today, we're recording this on February 16th. I think Biden has a slight advantage. And I say that just because I think the Democratic Party has been winning elections for 4 years now, since 2020, for 6 years, since 2018. Donald Trump is a very popular candidate among Republicans, but he is not a popular candidate with independents and moderate voters and moderate Republicans. And the result has been, with him as the face of the party, after Roe v. Wade fell and abortion has become a really big issue, Democrats keep winning. They held off the red wave in 2022 and picked up a Senate seat, which was, basically without precedent in midterm history. They won every special election pretty much in 2021 and most of them in 2023. And then this year they've swept all the important elections. They flipped the Virginia House. They won special elections in Pennsylvania and Wisconsin for Supreme Court seats. I mean, they keep winning, and they're winning in swing states. And I think, if I had to put money on something, I would bet on Joe Biden, but it's going to be a really close race and a lot could happen between now and November. So, I reserve the right to change my answer, I guess, depending on how things shake out.
And another candidate who's also in the race is the independent Robert Kennedy Jr., who I've also invited to the show multiple times. Hopefully soon he'll be here, but he had this amazing Super Bowl. When he didn't, but a PAC showed him in the Super Bowl, an amazing ad. What do you think of him? Is he going to affect the election? Not necessarily him winning, but tilting it towards one candidate against the other?
Yeah, I think he could have a really big impact on the election. I mean, don't forget, Hillary Clinton lost in 2016 by a combined 70,000 votes across 3 states. Joe Biden won Georgia in 2020 by 10,000 votes, and Pennsylvania by 20 or 30, and, Wisconsin and Michigan by like a combined less than 100,000 votes. So one candidate coming in and getting a couple million people to vote for him is a really big deal and could totally change the outcome of the election, especially with how tight it's going to be. So yes, if he runs and stays in the race as an independent, I think he could definitely have a big impact. I think he's actually maybe more likely to steal some Trump voters than Biden voters, despite the fact he's a Kennedy and has history on the ticket as a Democrat. And I say that because one of his primary issues is the vaccine issue and sort of a vaccine skeptical stance, and someone who's really after big pharma and thinks that the COVID vaccines were rushed and more dangerous than people think. And I think that view for a lot of Democratic voters is disqualifying. And I think for a lot of Republican voters, it's something they're really open to and they're really glad somebody's saying. So I think he might surprise people on the kind of voters that he steals. I think he has some good ideas. I think he's got some awful ideas. I think he speaks really well to some of the despair and the struggles and the strife that a lot of Americans are having, a lot of lower income Americans, a lot of lower class white Americans, a lot of Americans who live in the Rust Belt and in areas of the country where they've seen huge economic loss and jobs being sent overseas or just being totally eliminated. He's really good at talking to those people. And I think that's a strength for him. And that's something that could keep his candidacy alive for a little while. He also has some beliefs that are a little bit nutty. And I don't mean necessarily the vaccine stuff. I mean, I just see him get interviewed and every now and then he'll say something where I'll go, I don't know. That's a little too far outside on the fringe. And I think when he gets more exposure, a lot of voters are going to hear that stuff and they're not going to be very interested in his candidacy. So that's my perspective on it. But, if he gets 3 or 4 or 5% of the vote, yeah, that could change the election.